It is officially week one. It's Monday, August 25th, 2025, and this is Armchair Analysis. Welcome into the show. Hopefully, you guys are having a good start to your week so far. Again, it's Monday, but it's a great Monday because that means, well, today means that we are officially into week number one. Now, just 5 days away from the ultimate start of the official start of the college football season, I should say. Week one, it's incredible. We had a good appetizer, if you will, on Saturday of week zero games, which left us with a lot of question marks still. But we look forward to week one to hopefully answer some of those, and hopefully you guys will stick around with me as we get going. If you're new around here, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts on everything we talk about today. But certainly subscribe. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers. I think we can do it by the end of the month, and especially with the previews we have coming, I think we can get that job done. Going ahead and getting started today, though, we've got a little bit of news coming out, and it is expected as of the time of this recording that Michigan is going to name Bryce Underwood as their starting quarterback. Why is that important? I don't know. It's not really a surprise, but it is a true freshman starting for the University of Michigan. It's the first time since Tate Forcier back in 2009. And if you really want to impress some friends at college football trivia night, Tate Forcier is a name you might want to keep in mind. This is a big deal for Michigan and a big deal for the future of this program. Of course, Bryce Underwood has really helped a lot of the recruiting classes the last couple of years, or sorry, this year, 2025's recruiting class, which he was a part of, and then the 2026 and 2027 recruiting classes even have been helped by the fact that he has landed in Ann Arbor. It took Michigan a good chunk of change to bring Bryce Underwood into the university and give him the opportunity to maybe even compete for the starting spot. He takes over and he's going to get a good opportunity. It's going to be Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Ann Arbor against New Mexico. New Mexico is a team that's replacing pretty much their entire coaching staff and really their entire team, at least those that meant something to the team last year. It's going to be a really good opportunity to get comfortable, get your feet wet, get ready for next week's big time matchup on the road in Norman against Oklahoma. This is expected to be announced today. If it's not announced by now, it should be announced at some point today. Sherrone Moore did say he was going to wait until we were into week one. I think this is probably the time where he's just going to say, you know what, we're going ahead. We're going to go ahead and announce it. It's been pretty much reported by everybody else that it will be tomorrow. So that's the expectation. Not a whole lot to bring to you today. That's really the biggest piece of news that I have going into this one. Looking forward to the weekend, and we'll go ahead and get started with the game of the week, or at least in many people's eyes, the game of the week. There's a couple games that are in this conversation, but this one certainly has a lot of weight behind it, and it's because it's a top five matchup to kick off the season. Texas at Ohio State. This game in the shoe in Columbus. A big noon kickoff will be there, and oh man, I messed up. Texas is not a 2.5 point favorite. Ohio State is a 2.5 point favorite. I'm going to correct that real quick and carry this forward. Problem solved. All right. Ohio State 2.5 point favorites going into this game on Saturday. The over/under sits at 47.5. They are expecting this to be a defensive battle, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. One thing I'm very certain with is that this is going to be a really fun game, and I think both offenses are going to have their moments of success. We look at these two teams, and we have certain things that we know and expect from both sides, and we have things that we are really just questioning. Let's go ahead and start with the quarterback position. Obviously, the advantage goes to Texas because of experience. Arch Manning has experience, has started multiple games before for the University of Texas, two of them last year. Well, the two last year against UTSA and Mississippi State. Has had considerable amount of playing time as well. Julian Sand, on the other hand, has a lot of garbage time, playing time, which is not a dig at Julian Sand. It's because they were that good last year. But he does not have a start and does not have I think, has not really had the command of the offense. The quarterback question marks went up until last week when Lincoln Keenholz finally bowed out of the competition. I say bowed out loosely. Ryan Day made the decision that it would be Julian Sand taking the start. in week one. The things we know, the running back room should be good. I trust C.J. Donaldson. I even like James Peoples a lot. I think they do too, down there in Columbus, or up there in Columbus at this point, where I'm at. As for Texas, they really like their running back room. Quinterrivion Wisner, and then they also have C.J. Baxter coming back off of injury. Expected to see a heavy dose of both of those guys, I think, over the course of the game. You look at the receiving room, Ryan Wingo and Jeremiah Smith, two guys from in the same class who I think Wingo expects to break out this year. Jeremiah Smith expects to prove that he is truly the number one receiver, and it's not just talk. The receiving rooms, I think, are both good anyways. The secondaries on both sides are going to be good. It's going to be a lot of heavyweight matchups in this one. But the one thing that continues to point out to me is I think Texas just has a general advantage in a lot of categories, a lot of it being continuity of the coaching staff, continuity of the roster, and it seems as though they're really looking forward to Arch Manning. Whether or not that's going to be a successful start or not, really to be determined. But for right now, I think they have a legitimate advantage in this game. At least that's the way I view it at this point. Granted, that's just one man's opinion. You're tuning in for this opinion, but it doesn't mean you have to listen to it. As for the lines that you see here, over under 47.5, the -2.5, I'm not touching any of it. I'm going to sit back and just enjoy this game. There is no way you will catch me betting anything on this game. It just can't happen. I'm going to sit back, watch, relax, enjoy it, and maybe sweat out some other games, but we won't be sweating this one out. You look at these two teams last year, they're pretty evenly matched based on what they did last year, and I think they're going to do very similar this year. Ohio State, that defense, I don't think can replicate what they did last year, 12.9 points per game. Probably can replicate the 250 yards per game, maybe a little higher this year. I don't think it approaches 300. It may sit probably in a similar range of where Texas is. I don't see them being quite as good in the run defense, but to be determined. The biggest thing for me defensively with Ohio State is how does Matt Patricia adjust his play calling? I've said this a lot, and I'm going to continue to say this because we've seen NFL head coaches come down and struggle a little bit early in their tenures as to when to call these plays, when to call the right play, and when to dial up a more complicated scheme. I'm not saying this is going to be an all-year thing, but it might be an early season thing. Also hinders a little bit for Ohio State's defense. As for the keys to the game, you've probably seen them and wonder, what are you talking about? Well, keep the crowd in the game for Ohio State. And the biggest thing is, this is a noon kickoff game. They've been concerned for a while. And a lot of people say when you go into any game at noon, will the crowd really be into it? Because again, that's an early kick. That's an early tailgate. How inebriated are the fans, if I may say that? I think Ohio State's just got to keep this crowd in it and keep them going, keep them loud. If they can do that, I think they're going to be all right, and I think they'll stick around in this game. As for Texas, all eyes are going to be on number 4, Jeremiah Smith, and for good reason. But you can't. The biggest thing I need to look at here, and the biggest thing I think everybody knows, if you put your focus on just one guy in this Ohio State receiver room, you are going to get bit from others. The biggest thing for me is I think Jeremiah Smith becomes a safety valve. Max Clare might become a safety valve at times too, just because of how good they are and what kind of playmakers they can be. It'll be really interesting to watch this entire game play out. I haven't really got the slightest idea what I think's going to happen. I have an early prediction, and that is me taking Texas to win. I'm sitting at 30-21. I think these teams do get their offenses going and start scoring a little bit. I ultimately just believe that Texas gets into control at some point, gets about a possession lead, doesn't really look back from that. As for the storylines in this game and some other things I'm looking at is, again, how will Julian Sand perform? Will he be comfortable? Will he be able to kind of get in a rhythm and really put together a solid amount of production? We'll see, but I think it could happen. I could see him kind of coming together in that second half. Again, just like I said, maybe struggling early. Second half rolls around, getting things rolling, keeping this thing close. And then again, I mentioned Matt Patricia. Will they have some hiccups early in the defense? We'll see. As for Texas, what will the running back rotation look like? How many carries will Wisner and Baxter get? Will they share? Will it be Wisner? Will it be Baxter? I don't really know, but I expect to see a heavy dose of both of them. I said that earlier. I'm going to kind of reiterate that point. I think we're going to see both of those guys. It would be pretty surprising to me if we see anything less than probably 50-50 or 60-40. This is Arch Manning's first start against a top 5 opponent. It's also his first start against a top 25 opponent. It's going to be a big deal. You do this on the road as well. There's a lot to look for in this Texas team and this offense, again, and how they're going to be led by Arch Manning. As for the secondary, can they contain Jeremiah Smith? Can they contain the passing game in general? This kind of relies on two things. Julian Sand being what I think a lot of people, including myself, expect him to be. This also relies on the Ohio State wide receiver room playing to the level that we think they're going to. And I expect both of those things to happen again. Maybe more so taking some time, and it may take a couple possessions to get comfortable. But once they do, will the Texas secondary be able to maintain, keep up, and even slow down this Ohio State passing attack? All questions to be answered. Again, I'm taking Texas to win. And certainly, if I were to guess, I'm gonna take the over, because I think when we see teams like this, two teams like this play, and sure they have good defense, but they've got the ability to play offense and be pretty productive, we tend to see the overs hit. We tend to see somebody or both teams score a little bit. I think the over will hit in this game. I'm looking at the -2.5. I think Texas will cover. I think obviously I'm taking Texas money line if I'm taking them to win. But again, I'm staying away from this game. Not really looking at it from a betting perspective. So don't expect that on my Take 10 later this week. You can find that on Friday if you haven't already or don't know what I'm talking about. We do 10 picks every week. 10 bets that I like, 10 of my favorites. And we keep track of what I'm betting and how things are going. Right now we're 1-1. We had a little bit of a hiccup, the over on the Kansas and Fresno State game. Unfortunately, they just kind of ran clock and played a little more conservative in the second half. But we did hit the under on Iowa State, Kansas State. Although it was close, we hit the under. We go into this week with some interesting starts. I'm really looking. Was put onto this by a friend of mine. San Jose State comes in as an 11.5 point favorite against Central Michigan. You can bet that is on my Take 10 this week. That is a huge mismatch, I think. And it'll be interesting to see if Central Michigan can hang around. I know they're the home team in that one, making it a little bit more reasonable. But I think San Jose State is a really good team. Love Kenny Amadalolo, and really like the run and shoot style that they're trying to put together. They're a fun team to watch. They're going to be I think they should be a heavier favorite than this. That's kind of what I was trying to say. So with that said, shorter show today. Not a whole lot of news to talk about. Not a whole lot going on, but wanted to get this preview going for you guys to see. Tomorrow you will see another preview. Clemson and LSU. Really pumped for that one. We'll have a lot more news, or well, maybe not a lot more news. Depends on how much news breaks. But we'll carry on breaking news, talk about whatever's going on around the sport, and then, of course, preview the game again tomorrow. Wednesday is going to be our third and final preview of the week. We're only going to do 3, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, we get a little more geared up for games and on-field action, including some previews for Thursday night. We'll also do the same thing on Friday, including a Take 10. And then Saturday, Sunday, again, we'll be live 10 a.m. Eastern Time both days with a preview on Saturday for the day and then a recap on Sunday of everything that we saw on Saturday. We'll also look into the Sunday games, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Miami, and Notre Dame. We'll take a look at Monday's game on Monday as well. TCU and North Carolina will play in the debut for Bill Belichick. So a lot coming down the line here. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. And we'll see you guys tomorrow with the Clemson and LSU Week 1 preview.